Hi friends! I wanted to share a story today that is one of our favorites, and I think it's very relevant in what's happening in the world today. I know when we see the news and we hear what's happening, it can be sometimes a little scary and sometimes sad. And more than ever, I think it is a reminder to us that our world needs a lot of love, because there's a lot of hurt and a lot of brokenness, and God asks us to love one another like we love ourselves. So I wanted to share a story. It's actually a parable from Luke 10:30 called the Good Samaritan. So I'll read this for you, and while I'm reading, my Keiki will be our actors and act out this story. Here is a man. He is going on a long journey. He packs some sandwiches and a flask of tea. Then he climbs up onto his donkey and goes up the hill. Soon he has left the town behind him, and the sun is hot, and the long climb up into the hills makes his donkey so tired. The path winds between high rocks is a dark place full of shadows. I don't like it here, says the man. He has a funny feeling that someone is watching him. Suddenly there's a shout. Robbers, 3 of them. They steal his donkey and all his belongings, and they whack him on the head with his own stick. Poor man, he is left lying on the path. His head is bleeding, and he cannot move his legs. He lies here for a long time, and then finally, he falls asleep. After a while, someone comes along the path. He is wearing nice clothes. He's a bishop. He stops, then hurries past, pretending not to see. Perhaps he is late for important business, or perhaps he is afraid. The man wakes up and starts to call for help. Here comes someone else. Help, help. But the Levite pretends not to hear, and he hurries past, just like the bishop. The sun rises high in the sky, and the man is hot. His throat is dry. But here comes more footsteps. Who is it? Oh no, is it a stranger from a foreign country? He has no friends here. Why should he stop to help? But the stranger does stop, and he speaks kindly to the man in foreign words and helps him to drink some water. And he washes his wounds and carefully puts a bandage around his head. The stranger helps the man up onto his donkey, and he puts his arm around him to stop him from falling off and gently leads him down the path. At the next town, the stranger finds an inn, and he puts the man to bed and pays the innkeeper. Look after him, he says, until I get back. Jesus says, which one was like a good neighbor? The bishop, the Levite, or the stranger?
The stranger.
The stranger, who is the Good Samaritan. So thank you to our helpers for helping share the story and telling the story about the Good Samaritan. I think it's a perfect example to show how God can use us, whether we're big or small, whether we have important jobs, whether we have lots of money or not. He uses us through our hearts, and he can show his love through each and every one of us. So if we can all bow our heads and say a prayer. Dear Jesus, thank you so much for the stories you share with us in the Bible and the stories that show us how we can help. Help us be good neighbors and good Samaritans to our family and our friends and our teachers and our friends at church
And our cousins.
And everyone around us.
Family.
And our family, definitely. We pray that you use us and you shine your light through us and help us to love more. And we thank you for this Sabbath, and we pray that everyone has a nice and restful Sabbath, and you fill all of our hearts and our homes with your love and your peace. In your name we pray.
I'm going to say a little
Amen.
prayer.
Okay.
I'm going to say a little prayer.
Yes.
May the blessings of the Lord be upon you. We bless you in the name of the Lord. May the blessings of the Lord be upon you. We bless you in the name of